Let's dive into the NWSL, but we got to start with some news. Following Sunday's Gotham versus Orlando home opener at Sports Illustrated Stadium in Harrison, New Jersey, NWSL and Gotham are investigating into, quote, hurtful or hateful language from a fan that was directed towards Orlando Pride forward Barbara Banda. Gotham, Orlando, and the NWSL came out with a joint statement saying this behavior is unacceptable and has no place in our league or in our stadiums. Darian, this is sad and hurtful, but how is this still happening?
It's the world we live in. It's the climate we live in. And sadly, as much as we want football to be the all-inclusive, intersectional, safe space that it should be, there's still assholes in it. The thing that I'm most upset about is they should be kicked out. They should not be allowed at another sporting event. They should not be allowed to come to anything. They should be banned from events. For Barbara Banda, I mean, she's faced a lot in her career, especially coming to the NWSL. She's had so much unfair scrutiny and racism and just so much that we shouldn't be talking. She shouldn't have to worry about that. She should be focusing on herself, her team, what she does on and off the field, and enjoying her life. And it makes me sick that we're even having to have these conversations still. But if you have some sort of rhetoric in your mind about this space is not for you. Stay out of it. And I hope that teams, the NWSL, and that Orlando, they feel supported in kicking people out. You should not be welcome anywhere near the sport. And I hope you go get help, because there's something wrong with you if you're spewing racist or sexist rhetoric at a freaking soccer game. Like, what is wrong with you? So I hope Barbara Banda and Orlando Pride knows that, and all the Black players, all the people of color know that we stand by them and that there's no room for this. And it's absolutely disgusting and inexcusable.
McCall, it's also unlike Gotham and Gotham fans to have this at their stadium.
Yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to Banda, and I'm just sending her healing vibes through mine, because people need to remember, having a craft that you do publicly that people criticize every day already is challenging enough. And then to have other things about the person you are and just unfair things said about you is just I hope she's okay today and for the rest of the year. It's just terrible. But yeah, I mean, just playing for Gotham for 5 years, and knowing those fans and that community and, what they believe in, and especially hearing that it came from Section 107, everyone in that area is awesome and usually just the best people with the best hearts and the best intentions. So to hear that came from the tri-state area, from Gotham fans, is just really, really surprising and disappointing. But I do love that the people in that section said this is unacceptable and wanted to clean it up and take action and do something about it right away.
There was action taken immediately. Security came, they escorted the fan out, and now there is a current investigation occurring as to kind of more about this as it develops. And maybe if this fan does get banned, Darian, will keep you all updated on what happens. This all comes just after 2 weeks of NWSL action. And now as we head into week 3, we have more games, more action, more teams fighting for goals, points. There's so many teams that are just stuck in the middle of the table, but we get 7 more games. McCall, what game are you excited to watch this weekend?
I really need a positive result from Louisville. I think that they just don't have a ton going for them right now. I know Bebiana personally and as a coach as well, and I think she's doing a fantastic job, and I know she's doing everything that she can there, and for whatever reason, it is not ticking for her yet. And to be fair, they haven't showed a lot of inspiration going forward in their play. They lack pizzazz. And Bev is so much personality every day with positive and passion. And I'm just shocked that that's not leaking into her team. And so I'm really rooting for them, because they're desperate for a good result to show that they're not going to be that team at the bottom of the table this year.
What's the next step for Louisville in their development in week 3 of the NWSL? What do you need to see from them?
I think they have solid players. I think they need to go after 1 or 2 more superstars, make some trades internationally. They just need more character going forward in a very aggressive, diverse, creative way that creates flair and puts the opponent on their back heels and has more unpredictable play. Everything they're doing is so predictable and easy to read, and they just need something else to shake their opponent up when they play.
So they can't do it with their current roster. You want
No.
them to add.
Yep.
All right, Dee, what
Do you
game
have
you watching?
wait, I want to know, do you
Oh,
have a
yeah.
player in mind, McCall and Lisa, that you think could come in? Like if they could get anybody that could come in and shake it up. Is that a Taylor Swift song?
Shake it off.
I just quote. Oh, I was like, I think I quoted something. I'm trying.
A world-renowned number 9. I think Kayla Fisher works so hard, and she's got some good qualities about her. She's required and asked to do a lot. She's the only and initial line of pressure. It's going to be tiring for her. If they could go after somebody who's a little bit better with their back to goal and able to have individual brilliance and create a goal on their own, yes, it might be someone elsewhere, but they need a top quality number 9.
Do you have one in mind? Or you, Darian, of a number 9?
You're saying I should come out of retirement and go play for Luton? No, I'm just playing. I mean, no, I'm just playing. I mean, in an ideal world, who wouldn't take a Bunny Shaw? Someone who literally can make something out of nothing, but she's not going to leave City. I need to think about this. I like this. Maybe for a segment that we do, we could talk team needs again and come up with players that maybe are on ice in a club that they're currently at that could be used here in the NWSL for teams like a Louisville or Chicago that need goal scorers.
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be someone that is dominant and confident in who they do and can bring something very different that Louisville is looking to do. But knowing Bev Yanez, it also probably has to be a technical player, someone that is very good at the ball at her feet. That's what she likes in her players, and that's how she likes to play, the style. Yeah, that's a good shout. I like that game, McCall. It's Racing Louisville. They're taking on Chicago Stars Sunday, 4 p.m. So you've got your eye on that one. Dee, who are you watching? Which game are you tuning into?
I will be on the coverage for that game as well, so tune in. It is on CBS Sports. Shout out if you want to hear me talk some footy. The game I'm looking forward to is KC and Utah. I have been pleasantly surprised with Utah this year, and last season they played Kansas City twice. They only lost 1-0 each time, which when I looked back, I was kind of surprised by just because of how prolific Kansas City is at goal scoring. This is a team that can be Loctite defensively in Utah. They really can be. They struggled to score if Ali Setnor was shut down. Well, now they've proven other people on the team can score. It's just a matter of cleaning up how they build out of the back, limiting those mistakes that are very much in their control, and still shutting down Kansas City. It's a tall task. It's a very, very tall task, but I'm really looking forward to this match. Utah's grown each game. They tied 1-1. They lost 3-2 against San Diego, which San Diego love the way that they play. That's a hard team to stop. But they just look like they're growing into a new team. And then Kansas City is Kansas City. They're going to create some chances. They're going to get a lot of shots. And I think it's a really good test for Mandy McGlynn, who's back in camp. So this will be a really good match and one I've got my eye on this weekend.
Defensively for Utah, Darian, who has to take responsibility for Shawinga? Which Utah defensive players have to be the ones to lock in on her and have a good game?
You know what? I actually think it starts before it even goes to Shawinga. I think the service that gets to her, whether it's a long ball or a huge part of her game, which we've talked about, which I've loved her development, is how she's popping into channels and using her teammates a little bit more. Everyone seems to connect with her a lot more. There's more chemistry, which just comes with time together. Shutting down those passes that get into her, whether that's a 6 screening Shawinga or locking down any sort of long ball that can be played out of the back between. That's tough. But she can score in so many different ways, but I really think it's limiting service to her. If she's going to get a ball over the top, she's going to get a ball over top. That recovery defense is going to be big, but McGlynn playing on that high line, which I hate and love at the same time, is going to be key with those long balls. Yeah. But it's really that service and McGlynn making really, really good in-game decisions.
I think this could come down to McGlynn having an A+ game versus a not so good game and Shawinga taking advantage of it. That's a fun battle because McGlynn
Really
is so
fun.
high off her line. She's going to try to from my prediction of Utah, she's going to try to intercept those long balls.
She's going to be keeper sweeper.
Yeah. Which if you're Shawinga, oh man, how hungry are you to just get one touch around her?
But then Kansas City has a Debinha who's you scout this. Vlatko's their coach. He's a psycho about this stuff. You're going to try to chip her now that you know that she has a high line. Utah, it's a high risk, high reward. We're going to see, but it'll be a really interesting game nonetheless.
Oh, that's a fun game. Okay, we've got Kansas City, Utah. That's Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. As the game I'm really excited to watch is the Friday night special, 8 p.m. Houston Dash hosting Gotham FC, mainly because of the comebacks, right? We get to see Delaney Sheehan, Yasmin Ryan, and Abby Smith, who played at Gotham last year, now back playing against this Gotham side, but in Houston. And Houston, they are coming off of a win. They're coming off of a game in which they're really finding their identity and how the Dash want to play. They sit 6th in the standings with just 3 points after 2 match days. And it's going to take time for the Dash to really find their rhythm in how they can play, but we're seeing different pieces fall into place every single time. I mean, Maggie Graham coming off the bench, getting a goal in back-to-back games. And then meanwhile, you look at a Gotham side that won the championship just 2 years ago. Their roster looks entirely different, and they're sitting second from the bottom in NWSL right now. They have only picked up 1 point in 2 match days, and they have to start to find their pieces together. It's very interesting, but I'm excited to see the battles on the outside with Gabby Portillo and some of the different players from Houston, Yasmin Ryan attacking down the flank as well. That's a game for me that I'm really excited to tune into. D.
I like that. Where do you think it's won and lost in this match? Because to me it's kind of it's an open game. It's a big opportunity for Houston, and it's where do you think that battle is actually going to be won?
I think it's going to be won and lost in the flanks. I think that both of these teams want to switch the ball from one side to the other very quickly when they go in transition. So often we talk about the midfield being so influential, and they will be in this game, but it's going to come down to numerical overloads in the wide areas and 1v1 for players and some individual brilliance, I think.
Plus
McCall.
Playing at Houston.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and there's feelings involved when you're playing your old team, and you just hope that they inspire you and motivate you and not slow you down. But I think Dash being at home is a big advantage for those players playing against their own team. And, you always get a little bit more hyped up in that scenario from the team that you just left, that you want to have a good game and all the things. So being in their home stadium with their people, I think will help them.
In the NWSL right now, we're only 2 weeks in, but we have started to see a little bit of separation. Orlando and Kansas City, they sit at the top of the standings, 2 wins apiece, 6 points. And then in the middle of the table between 3 and 7th is Bay, San Diego, Seattle, Houston, and Washington. They either sit on 4 or 3 points, with Angel City on 2 points. That's the playoff line. And then we have this giant chunk of draws and losses, 1 point each, between Utah, North Carolina, Portland, Racing, Gotham, and then Chicago sitting on 0 points at the bottom of the table. But there's this middle chunk, Darian. Where are we going to see the breakout? A team that separates themselves and breaks into the top, or maybe even falls? Who do you see?
This is a great question. We got some news, because the team that I actually really enjoyed watching last week was
breaking news.
Breaking news, A3. San Diego Wave. They got Daniela Arias from the Colombian center back. I mean, this is a huge, huge acquirement for San Diego, when all of our question marks have been, how are they going to be defensively? They lost Dahlkemper. They lost Gurma. Oh my God, everybody's leaving. It's a mass exodus. Jonas Eidevall has been like, watch me cook. Brought in so many internationals, and then is now tightening up that back line. This is a huge, huge signing. And San Diego, the way that they're playing, it's this really, really beautiful tiki-taka, quick movement on the ball, 1-2 touch, passing patterns. Everybody's moving. It's poetry in motion. They're putting their chances away. A little leaky defensively, but this is really going to help them. So I think, especially with this signing and looking at how they're playing, and this is just the start of a season with a new team and a new coach, they're going to be really, really tough to play against if they keep building on it. And then Daniela coming in is just a chef's kiss.
That's a huge acquisition for San Diego. Do you know if she's available this weekend? Do we have any update on that, Darian? You're a breaking news reporter right now. Do you know?
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me type like a mad woman to see.
San Diego is set to play Orlando this weekend. It's a test for them. It's a really, really big game. Is there any chance, McCall, that San Diego can get a point out of this game?
Well, San Diego's attack is on fleek. They are fluid, in motion, the kind of team that makes your head spin in your defensive half. With that being said, they're going to lose the ball at some point. And so they do need another center back or someone with international experience that can really lock them down back there. But I think Orlando has the edge because they're just more of a well-oiled machine at this point because they all been together longer, and they are stronger in the back. You know, I think Nadanner and Sams, and they're so solid. I think they're unsung. They don't get enough attention. And I think they have an edge on their back line more so than San Diego at this point.
This will be a big test for San Diego defensively to try to contain all the firepower that Orlando has. Okay, so San Diego for UD. Any update on Arias? I saw you typing away.
I don't know, but even just taking a step back from my jubilation when I saw this in the chat, shout out. And also shout out to SD Miller. You've been riding for the wave. Sorry we were kind of trashing them in the offseason. To me, jumping into a season with a new team, NWSL is so high pace, no matter where you're coming from. I don't know if you get the start from the jump. Maybe we see a few minutes. Maybe it's 15, 20. But center back, you don't typically change unless something's really wrong. But I do think that, you know what, maybe next week we'll really see her integrated into this team and get minutes, because that leadership she's bringing is so, so important for San Diego and that back line.
Yeah, I like that shout. McCall, do you have a team that's in the middle of the pack that could have a breakout week and try to bump up some points? Darian mentioned San Diego. They sit in fourth currently, only on 4 points. Is there a team that stands out to you?
Am I allowed to say Gotham? Because I'm not worried about them. I still think they're going to squeak into the playoffs, even with their hesitant start. They're going to be fine. I think we may just see what we saw last year, that there's 4 running away with it, and then the rest are just fighting for that middle, and there's a huge gap in between the top 4 points and the middle points trying to squeak into the playoffs. And then there's going to be like a bottom 2 again that just are out early and have no chance. Don't want to name names yet, but they're there. And that middle pack is, I think there's going to be a gap again, and there's going to be a race other than the ones that are just week in and week out performing like the Orlandos, like the Kansas.
Yeah, I like that shout for Gotham. I'm looking at Seattle Reign. I want them to take a next step. They're traveling to LA to take on Angel City, and I want to see the next evolution of this team under Laura Harvey. That match, Angel City, Seattle, Sunday, 8 p.m., CBS Sports Network. Check it out.